Hello there, Entrefluencers, and welcome back to the Entrefluential Life Podcast, Unplugged Edition, where we dive into business, branding, and building a life of freedom through entrepreneurship and influence. I'm your host, John Tanner. Today, we've got an exciting episode lined up for you: the power of digital courses, transforming expertise into revenue. If you're a coach, consultant, entrepreneur, influencer, or content creator, you probably have valuable knowledge that others are willing to pay for. But how do you take that expertise and turn it into a scalable income stream? That's exactly what we're going to cover today. We'll break down why digital courses are the best ways to monetize your knowledge, the step by step process to create and launch a profitable course, how to market and sell your course without feeling salesy, and common pitfalls to avoid so you don't waste time or money. If you've ever thought about launching a digital course but weren't sure where to start, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. First things first, why are digital courses such a powerful business model? One word: scalability. When you trade time for money, whether you're coaching, consulting, or freelancing, there's always a limit to how much you can earn. But with a digital course, you create it once and sell it over and over again. Some of the biggest benefits of online courses include passive income potential. Instead of working one on one, your course allows you to help hundreds or even thousands of people at once without extra effort. Global reach. With a digital course, your audience isn't limited to your city or county or even your country. You can sell to anyone, anywhere in the world. Trust me, I have. My people have taken my real estate classes at Udemy in 131 countries the last time I checked. All right, credibility and authority. When you have a course, you're positioning yourself as an expert in your field, which can open doors to speaking gigs, collaborations, and media features. Flexibility and freedom. You're not tied to a schedule. Once your course is up and running, you can focus on other business ventures or just enjoy more free time. And let's not forget, this is a $325 billion industry. That's billion with a B, not million, billion. That's growing fast. Platforms like Udemy, Teachable, and Kajabi are making it easier than ever to create and sell courses online. So if you have knowledge that can help others, creating a digital course could be one of the best financial decisions that you ever make. Now let's talk about how to create a profitable digital course step by step. Here's the practical steps for building it, starting with step one: finding your course topic. The best course topics come from three key areas: your expertise, what do people always ask you for advice on; market demand, what are people already paying to learn; and your passion, what topic could you teach without getting bored? It's pretty important. A great way to validate your idea is to survey your audience or check platforms like Udemy or Coursera to see what's already selling. And if you're stuck, here are some hot niches that always perform well: business and entrepreneurship. Ching, that's my favorite. Health and wellness. I like that one too. I'm not a personal trainer, but I love that content. Personal development. I love that. Marketing and social media. I love that too. I have to be honest. Tech and coding. Not so much. I can do it, but it's not my favorite thing to do in the world. Creative skills. And by the way, when I say that, like, I'm not dissing it at all. I mean, I studied computer science. Like, that's my minor in undergrad. Okay. Creative skills 20 plus years ago, by the way. Creative skills such as photography, design, writing, art. I mean, I've seen some fantastic artists create content and just blow up exceedingly well. Teaching how to paint and even guitar lessons. It's phenomenal. All right, step two: outline your course content. This is important. Once you've nailed your topic, it's time to map out your course. I always start with a brainstorm, and then I take my brainstorm and I categorize my topics into chapters, just like if I'm writing a book, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and I may move things around in the process or after I finish writing things because they seem to fit in different places better. And so like it's not linear progression 100%, but I love to start with a framework, and having your chapters 1 through 10 is a great way. And then so a chapter would be for a book typically, and then for a course, you would call it a module. So, but it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. Okay. So you can break down your modules and your lessons that guide your students. So let's say that each module, right, will have, let's say 3 lessons on average. So you have 10 modules, right? That would be like 10 chapters of a book and 3 lessons per module. So you're looking at 30 lessons altogether, right? So your example course structure could be like this. Let's look at 5 different sections of an outline. You start off with an introduction. That's an overview of what they're going to learn. The second part will be foundational concepts. These are the key principles that they need to understand, right? Foundation, right? The base. Implementation steps, that will be part 3, which are the hands-on strategies and exercises that they need to complete in order to master the skill. So I like to think of this as the tactical, right? You start off at the high level, which is the strategic, and then the implementation steps are the tactical. It's boots on the ground. If you have soldiers and you're sending them out to battle, what are the tactical steps that they have to do in order to accomplish the mission? That's hand-to-hand combat. That's firing an M16 weapon. That's throwing hand grenades. Those are all tactical things that you would have to do. I know that from experience because I was in the Army and Navy. Okay, not that I ever shot anybody or anything like that, but I did train. And anyways, let me not go down that rabbit hole. I just want to say that that's tactical. Okay. Advanced. So tactical in the classroom is like having a lesson plan and then implementing the lesson plan step by step by incremental time blocks, which I used to do because I was also an English teacher, middle school and high school. And so like, let's say that you have your lesson, your 90-minute block schedule, and you need to teach from bell to bell. That's a teacher thing, right? So from bell to bell. So you start off with like a 5-minute introduction, and then you move into your lesson and you hit, part 1, part 2, part 3. Those are, 15, 30, 45, part 4, 60, part 5, another 15-minute block. That's 75 minutes. And then let's say you have, 10 minutes in the morning for the introduction, and you're like a bell ringer, which is a graphic thing, or maybe like, I don't know, 5 minutes of news. And then you have another 5 minutes to wrap up, 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up at the end of your 90-minute block. And so all of that's blocked out. So that's your implementation steps. You would do something like that with your module. You'll have your lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and all of the details that go underneath it that support whatever the theme is, your main idea. And then you do a clincher sentence, which is a transition to go from lesson 1 to lesson 2. Another transition sentence to go from lesson 2 to lesson 3. And it could be as simple as, in the next lesson, I'm going to tell you about how to turn on a light. Okay, that's an example. And then the last one, when you're wrapping up, that would be called a clincher sentence or a conclusion, and you're wrapping up. So, and then you're going to introduce what you tell them. So in any type of teaching, you want to tell them what you're going to tell them at the beginning. That's the introduction. Then you tell them the content, which is the body of whatever you're teaching. And then the conclusion, you tell them what you just told them. So you're basically telling them the same thing 3 times, but the body obviously gets into deep details, right? You dive deep into the content, but you just give them an overarching, here's the subject objectives that we're going to cover. Here's the subject objective that we just covered in the conclusion. All right. So section 4 are advanced strategies. Advanced strategies are deeper insights and or troubleshooting. So that again would be underneath. Those are the bullet points that go underneath each lesson. Inside of each lesson is your advanced strategies. That's your deeper insights. And then section 5 of your course could be bonuses and resources. These are extra tools, templates, or even popular. It could be a Q&A session if it's live, or it could be an FAQ, frequently asked questions, if there's a document that you're providing to the students inside of your course. Let's move on to step 3, because I don't want to belabor this too much. In step 3, choose your course format. There are different ways to structure your course, including video-based courses, which is the most popular and most engaging, text-based courses, which are great for ebooks and PDFs. I create that, both of those things. I do all of the above, by the way. If you haven't noticed, in at the Entrefluential Life channel at on YouTube, you'll see our video based courses, and then I have the text-based content, which is I have ebooks that I've published and PDF documents that I've distributed out in different platforms like my Linktree and so forth. Audio courses. So you can create an audio course like I'm doing right now. This is essentially an audio course. All of season 4 is lesson based, right? Rather than like in the past 3 seasons where Sebastian and I would interview guests, we would talk, engage in conversation. That's like a show, right? It's a show. And or like news, like reporting kind of in a way when you're interviewing somebody, right? Conducting interviews. But in this season, it's just teaching. So you could do the same thing too. You could use a podcast platform, or you could just do audio courses so that people could use their mobile phone to listen to the lesson. Just like if back in the days, we used to buy courses on cassette tapes and we would play them in our car as we were driving to and from work, like personal development self tapes. Like I remember listening to Think and Grow Rich. I still have my cassette tapes for Think and Grow Rich, and I still listen to it on my stereo that has a cassette tape player. For those of you who don't know what that is, you know what it is. You've seen it because it keeps coming back up in retro art. So you know what it is. I'm sure you know what it is. And if not, just Google it. Okay. You can Google anything. Anyways, so you have your audio courses. So you can upload your content into a podcast format or onto your website as media audio links. And then there's live coaching courses, which is really great for building your presence, right? So getting people to follow you. So you can do a combination of video lessons, and then you could also do live Q&A if you're doing a live coaching course, which is adding value to the listener. So of all of these, video is the most effective. But if you are camera shy, you have stage fright, the only way to get over that is to actually get into it and get on it, right? And stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about who the person is that you're trying to reach. And if you think about one person that you're really trying to help, that you're really trying to pour into and give advice and educate, help, assist, when you do it thinking in that frame of mind, it's so much easier to accomplish it. Now, yeah, you may be nervous in the first 30 seconds or minute. I am always, because that never goes away. It's just always there. But you remember, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? And you dive into it and start thinking about, I need to help give this information. I'm focused on delivering this information to this person. And then it gets you out of the frame of mind of, oh my gosh, what are they going to think about me? Am I going to mess up? Blah, blah, blah. All of those fearful type things, fight or flight, whatever, that come up, you just dissipate those really quickly and get into the content. And once you start helping, then you start getting energized and encouraged. Your energy level goes up, just like I am right now. And so you just have to wait for that switch to happen. So it's like going surfing or wakeboarding. You've got to, like, let's use wakeboarding as an example. You've got to pop up. If you don't get your feet tilted up to get the board out of the water, the pull of gravity is going to pull the board, and you're going to pop out of it, right? Your feet are going to come out of the boots, and you're going to be off the board. You're going to have to let go of the rope because you're going to be eating hard water. So you don't want to do that. So like, it's just a matter of a format, if you will. You've got to take the first step to pop up. Same thing with going with speaking live or on stage. You've got to, in front of an audience, a room of people, you've got to take that first, you got to pop up out of that first 30 seconds of fear and dive into, who am I doing this for? What am I doing? And then you'll see it's fun. It can be fun. All right. So you get out of your own mind and get into the task at hand. So again, if you are just fearful of doing that, you're like, John, okay, that sounds good, but I'm just not ready to do that yet. Don't worry. You don't need to do that right now. You can just start off with doing audio recordings just like this, like what I'm doing right now. You don't see my face, you just hear my voice, because I decided to do this, what I'm calling unplugged. I'm unplugged from the video camera and just doing some audio. So you just listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking to you right now. I'm talking to you, buddy, my friend. All right. And so all you need, if you have an iPhone and you have a headset, that's all you need. You don't need any fancy equipment. Now you can upgrade at any point. Like Sebastian bought me this Yeti microphone, Yeti Blue microphone that I'm using to record this right now. So my sound might be a little bit more crisp than in prior episodes, but we've just gone with the camera on the phone without even a headset. We just turned on the camera and started recording. And so that's okay too, because our technology today is way better than what people had in the past. I remember when I was a kid buying a cheap microphone from Radio Shack and using that to do recordings. No, it never was publicized because we didn't have, you know, social media and all of these streaming platforms like we do today. But I was playing around with that kind of stuff when I was a kid. And we've come a very, very long way with our technology, even to the point where we're walking around with computers in our pockets. We call them smartphones. All right, I digress. Let me go back into my lesson plan so that I can get back on task here and tell you about step 4. Step 4 is build your course on the right platform. Now, where do you host your course? If you have no idea where to start, let me tell you about 4 platforms. Kajabi, that's an all-in-one course platform for hosting, email, and marketing. Actually, I'm going to tell you about 5 because next to Kajabi, which is a little pricey, when I say a little, I mean more than a little. It's pricey. It's great, but it's pricey. I've used it in the past. I decided to cut it because I wasn't making enough money to cover the cost at the time. This was years ago. But I do like the platform, but I just think it's expensive. Here's another platform that you can actually create your content on called Go High Level. If you go to gohighlevel.com, that's a great platform. I think it's about $200 a month, probably the same price as Kajabi. I don't know because I haven't checked it out in a while. But you get to sell the platform, the service to other people so you can offset your cost. So if you have, let's say that you do social media management, and if you have 5 clients that are paying you $20 a month to use your platform, that's $100. That offsets your cost by $100. Or if you want to pay for the whole thing, charge them 40. 5 people have $40, it's $200. You cover your cost for having the platform, which means you can upload all your content basically for free because you're offsetting your cost by selling the platform service to other people that are doing the same thing too. If that sounds good to you, it sounds good to me. I'm not doing that, but I keep thinking I'm going to do this one day because I like free. It's a great price. All right, let me tell you about another one. Teachable. It's user friendly and it's great for beginners. Thinkific, same thing. Solid platform, lots of customization options. Udemy. This one's good for reaching a built-in audience at lower pricing because they just charge you a percentage. You don't have to pay them every month for using their service to upload your content, but they charge you a lot though. I think they charge me 50% of the sales, and they run programs like automated sales prices. So like if you put your course at $100, they may be offering it at $20, $50 at different times, $10 because they're doing promotions and they're trying to get people on to your content. So you have to be willing to not only go with their promotional prices because they're marketing your content for you, but you also have to pay them 50% of whatever the commission is, and you have to wait more than 30 days to get paid. So those are some of the downsides. The upside is that you can grow your reach very fast on Udemy. I had over 50, I think it was over almost 60,000 students in my real estate classes when I was teaching on Udemy. I have a couple of classes on there right now. They're not doing well. It's like some promotional self-help kind of content. It's called Up. I love the content, but it's just not trending well. There's a lot of people out there in the personal self-development space, and it was supposed to be a 5-part series, and I'm not to point 4 or 5 yet. Those are going to come later on. I was just forward pacing myself to talk about those things in the future, but 1 and 2 and maybe 3 were up, and I just don't think that they were performing well. I think I might have even turned 2 and 3 off and just left 1 up. But you can go take a look at it and see if you like it. The real estate classes were doing really well for a while, but they got outdated. And the thing is, you have to go on to whatever platform you use. You've got to update your content every now and then, so they'll keep pushing it to, if they promote it for you for free. If you want them to promote it, you've got to update your content on a regular basis. Otherwise, they ding you for not doing that, and they could remove your content from their platform if you're not updating your content regularly. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, if you're using one of these other programs like Thinkific or Teachable, then the content will be there as long as you leave it on there. because they don't have those. I don't think they have those requirements. I'm not 100% sure. I've used Thinkific once. The platform is a little, I don't know. It's not as user friendly as Udemy, for instance, but you get 100% of the commission. You can start off for free with the first course, but then you have to pay a monthly service fee in order to upload second, third, fourth courses. So keep that in mind as well. Anyways, if you want to go with $0 out of pocket for your startup course, I recommend that you go with Udemy. And then as you start generating revenue, you can move to one of these other monthly service fee platforms like Kajabi, Teachable, Thinkific, or Go High Level. And then you can offset the cost of that platform with the sales that you make. Let's move on to step 5, how to price your course the right way. Now, pricing will depend on your niche, your audience, and the value that you're providing. So there's 3 common pricing models. We call it the low ticket offer, the mid ticket offer, and the high ticket offer. You may have heard that thrown around in social media. A low ticket offer generally ranges in the price range of $47 to $197. So basically 50 to 200 bucks, right? Ballpark figure. These are for short courses and that people will buy on impulse. The mid ticket is for once you have an audience, right? That they want to engage more with your content. This is where you'll provide a little bit more deeper training, a little bit more content, and it'll be more engagement with the end user, the customer that's buying your class, your course. And the mid ticket price range is $297 to $997. So basically $300 to $1,000. By the way, these numbers, for some reason, people are more willing to pay for a $297 class than for a $300 class. Those numbers just seem to appeal to the mind for whatever reason. So that's why you see that those numbers like that: 47, 297, 997, 197. Anyway, moving on. High ticket offers are $1,000 and up. Those are for premium courses, and generally they offer coaching as well as the course. So you take the course and you get coaching as well for however long that fits into your price range. So like me, for instance, my hourly rate is $500 an hour. And that's actually a discount because when I was studying for my master's in hospitality management, I was looking at doing hospitality consulting back in 2011, 12. And the price for private consulting in that business was $700 an hour back then. And now we're in 2025. And I'm only charging $500. And now I have a law degree on top of a master's in hospitality management. So offering $500 seems to me like I'm shortchanging myself by a substantial amount, because if it was $700 in 2016, 2012, then it's got to be worth $1,000 an hour at least, right? Today, I would think, with all of the inflation that's been going on. But anyway, I just chose $500 an hour. It's lower than probably what I could get for my level of skill, but at the same time, I feel like it's fair and reasonable for now until I get so bombarded where I have to raise my prices because I can't service everybody. That's what my rate is right now. So $500, if I was doing a high ticket offer course charging $1,000 and I want to add coaching to it, well then if the course is worth $500 itself, and then $500 would only give you 1 hour of coaching, right? So that kind of doesn't make sense. So you probably want to consider doing, like in my case, I'm not offering right now this class that I'm working on building right now called the Entrefluential Empire Builder. And you'll hear more about that later on. But my strategy for this is going to be $5,000 for this course. This is a very high ticket offer, right? Because I'm teaching people how to exponentially grow their income, their businesses by using acquisition entrepreneurship, which you might have heard about through several books that are coming out right now that are discussing that. One of which is Buy Then Build, which is a really fantastic book, and I highly recommend that you read that. Buy Then Build by Walker Deibel. Anyways, it's being taught at colleges like Harvard and some high, I would say like Ivy League type universities where they're teaching this in entrepreneurship classes. Anyway, again, I'm going down a rabbit hole. The point is that in that, I wanted to give you an example of a high ticket offer and how I'm structuring it so you might use it as a template. So this $5,000 course is going to be comprised of 12 workshop modules, which generally are about an hour long each. Some of them are maybe half an hour. some maybe an hour and a half, but it'll be 12 modules that you can do on demand. And then after that, or through the process of doing those modules, I'm also going to offer 12 weeks of coaching. So I could do one to many. That's me. Instead of doing one to one where I'm coaching you one on one, I will actually be coaching you plus whoever else is in that cohort, a 12-week cohort. It's like going to college, right? You have a class that starts in January and it ends in April. That's a cohort, right? That's a schedule. A cohort, I mean, is the group of people that you're in the class with. But the schedule is like from January to March, April to May to June, in 90-day increments, July, August, September, October, November, December. So like if I do it all year long, which I won't, maybe twice a year, then it's only going to be open twice a year for 3 months. And you have to start when the whole group, your cohort starts. Otherwise you can't get in, right? So it'll be maybe like a dozen people. And so that $5,000 is covering 3 months of weekly coaching, which is, let's say, an hour long of coaching to the group for 1 hour each week on a Friday at 6 p.m., let's say, for instance, right? So that's 4 hours each week. So at my rate of $500 an hour, that would be $2,000 right there for the first month, another 2,000 for the second month, another 2,000 for the third month. That's $6,000 worth of coaching. And then the content itself, the class. So let's say that the class is worth $1,000. Let's say that's just the price that you decide to go with, right? Based on the type of content and what the market is paying. Because you have to look and see what other people doing a similar thing are pricing, right? Charging. Because you don't want to sell your hard work for lower than the market because you're leaving money on the table, or higher than the market because nobody's going to want to buy it if there's something else that they can buy at the same price, right? That has the same kind, lower price, same content. So that's why you want to be competitive with the marketplace. So you're not leaving money on the table and then you're not losing sales. That's basically why you don't want to go too low or too high. You want to match the market. So you find 3 different types of course content providers, and this applies for low ticket, mid ticket, or high ticket. And then if you can offer them a deal, a discount. So like, let's say my coaching would be $6,000 plus the class would be another 1,000. That would be 7,000, but I offer it for 5,000. They automatically, the audience, you would see the value in it because you say, well, if I was doing this one-on-one, I would pay 7,000 for the course and the coaching, but I'm going to pay 5,000 for being a part of this cohort, which means I have to share my teacher, my coach, with a dozen other people, but I'm saving $2,000. And so they can see the value. You would see the value in that. And so that's one way of structuring your course on a high ticket level. Provide value up front by discounting, by offering additional services at a discounted price. That would be one enticement. That's just one enticement to get them to join your high ticket offer. Okay, to raise your hand on that. But you can apply the same tactic, right? The same pricing strategy by offering more value for a lower price at the mid-ticket offer as well. So you can do the same thing with $300 class. You offer them $500 of value for a $300 class. And now some of these experts out there, they do like these irresistible offers with multiple bundles of deals, and they keep adding more and more stuff to it. And my opinion on that is don't do it. And here's why. 2 reasons. Number one, you overload the person who's looking at all that content. Too much information is too much information. And you go into what's called analysis paralysis. You freeze up. When you have too much information and your mind can't process all of the information that's being dumped on you, then you just freeze up. And then when you freeze up and you get confused, you quit. And even though it's just temporarily, you can't make a decision like that. So I think that they're doing themselves a disservice. Those people who do all of these massive bundled offers, you're doing yourself a disservice if you do that, because you're causing the audience to have analysis paralysis. So I advise you not to do that. That's my advice to you. Don't do that. Just keep it simple, right? Follow the KISS method. Keep it simple, silly, and offer just a few extra, maybe 2, 3 extra bonuses that make the deal better value. A few extra tools could be helpful, and that's it. Keep it simple. Anyways, the key is to focus on outcome-based pricing, right? Or we call that value-based pricing. What are they going to get out of it? People will pay more money if your course helps them to achieve a desirable and valuable result. In other words, Think about this. There, people are always tuned into the WIIFM radio station. WIIFM. If you haven't heard that yet, that means what's in it for me. In other words, why should I do this? Why should I listen to you, John? And why should I pay you money for this course? What's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this deal? They're always asking that. I'm always asking that. You're always asking that. We always ask that. And so you have to answer that question for somebody to make a decision to go ahead and go with you. So that your price should be based on the value that you're providing them with. Think about that. Keep that in the top of mind when you're creating your pricing strategy. And then also you could do 3-tiered pricing, which is fantastic. 3-tiered pricing is having a low, kind of like a low ticket offer, a mid ticket offer, and a high ticket offer, all for the same course. So let's say that you have a gold, silver, and bronze package. The bronze package will be your bare bones basic package for the course. Then you take it up a notch and you add a couple of extra bonuses for the deluxe version of your course offering, your package offering. So that could include the workbook, the course, and the workbook comes in the middle package. That's your silver package, right? So bronze is just the course, silver would be the course and the workbook, and then gold, your high package, right? Top tier for the VIPs out there, there would be the workbook, the course, and some coaching, right? Maybe you do a month of monthly coaching calls, or 2 months or 3 months of coaching calls on top of the course, the workbook, right? So it's a package deal. And then you may even throw in another bonus or two, like some PDF cheat sheets, templates, swipe files, whatever, extra bonus training video, a couple of those, something like that to sweeten the pot, if you will. All right, so let's move on with how to sell your course without feeling salesy. Creating your course is only half the battle. You also need to know how to sell it effectively. Here's a 3-step sales funnel that you can use, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Number 1, build an audience first. You'll have an easier time selling if you have an engaged audience before you launch. But how do you do this, John? How do I build an audience from scratch? Well, you can buy email lists, which I don't recommend. And maybe, okay, let me rephrase. Let me pause here for a second. Time out. If you buy an email list, don't use it to email them, because you're going to probably end up in the spam folder, and then your emails will be rejected by the email service providers, whoever that is, Outlook, whatever, MSN, Gmail. Okay, so in order to avoid ending up in the spam file, you can upload that email list into a retargeting campaign on Facebook and Instagram. So you create your own custom audience, take that email list, upload it in Excel format to Facebook, and then you create your Facebook, Instagram campaign. So because you're uploading your own custom audience using that email list, Facebook will look and see if those people have a Facebook or Instagram profile, and they'll send the email, the advertisement that you create. It's a paid ad to those people only, not to the general public, but just to the people on your email list. And so it's very low cost. So I don't know what the price is today, but back in the day, it was like a penny per person. So I don't know. It's may probably be some more expensive today, but probably much cheaper than just reaching the general public. So I do recommend you could buy a email list if it's low cost, to do it that way. The other way is to build it. You can build your own email list, which is got to be a little bit techie, and it's very time consuming. So you might want to hire a VA and teach them how to do it, but there's instructions on how to do it yourself. Create your own email list. And then there's social media content. And by the way, if you have a newsletter, then you can, I use Kit, right? Kit.com. And I have my newsletter there, which also is my mechanism for delivering my new magazine that we're publishing, called the Informed Entrefluencer magazine. And so every quarter we're going to send out the newsletter, which is a behind the scenes newsletter of what we're doing at the Entrefluential Life, at the Entrefluencer Training Company, and inside the Informed Entrefluencer magazine. And so it'll be the behind the scenes, and it'll have a link to the quarterly publication, the new release. So that's one way of building up your email list, is having a newsletter, and you build it up organically that way. But then now Kit is offering some kind of a paid program where you can get recommendations So basically, they boost your content for a fee, and so that's one way to build your email list through your newsletter service provider. And again, you can check out Kit, and they could be a good resource for you. The other way is to build it up through social media content. So you put content out there. Hopefully, it resonates with your target audience, and they subscribe to or they follow you. If, like for instance, on Instagram, or subscribe if you're talking about YouTube. But just slowly, organically producing content on YouTube is a great. I love YouTube, and I love uh, Instagram and LinkedIn for B2B. Use all of them. I use all of them. Pinterest as well. And then so you build your audience that way. I have a small audience. I have like a little over 11,000 people. I think the last time I counted was about the size of my audience overall, including all of my channels, my blogs, the Pinterest and social media uh, platforms. About 11,000 people, which is small, very small number. Anyway, little by little, right? You start out. Everybody starts off with one. Your mom. Anyway, okay, so use those platforms to build your audience, and then number two, use content marketing. So instead of just saying, "Hey, buy my course," you create value packed content like free webinars where you demonstrate the content that you're doing, which is my strategy. I have a free webinar. I'm doing a series actually of 15 free webinars. Basically, it's a whole complete course that I'm offering for free before I do my $5,000 program, which is more advanced, in order to grow my audience. So you could do a strategy like that, and it doesn't have to be 15 classes. Mine's 12 plus 3 bonus courses, and I call them workshops, right? Because they're meant to be taught at, let's say, like the Chamber of Commerce. They're meant to be taught at a workshop format like that for commerce members, small business owners. But I'm doing it online on YouTube because the reach is infinite, right? You're there, available around the world, 24/7, 365, and I look at every video that I create like a salesperson, a digital salesperson, marketing my content, marketing my brand, marketing my services. And you can do the same thing too. Every video becomes a salesperson for you. So put as much of them out there as possible. And it doesn't have to be 12 to 15 like I'm doing. It could be 3, 5, 7, whatever you come up with, even one at a minimum to provide value and to get people interested in what you're doing. And if you want to be real cool, strategic, real ninja, you can go to a website called Promulta and boost your videos for as low as $10 per video. And that gives you, right now I'm paying $10 for 400 views. So you get some audience count, get some exposure, and you can pay to get thousands of people to your channel by using Promulta. So that's an option for you as well to give yourself a little bit of turbo boost right there. And then the other thing is to do blog posts and link to your course content. I already mentioned YouTube videos, and then there's lead magnets. So you can have a landing page with some type of a cheat sheet, some type of a ebook, or some free PDF download, white paper, whatever you call it, which is just a white paper. If you don't know what that is, it's just bare bones content. So there's no fluff, no fancy pictures. It's not pretty. It's just black and white paper, right? Just a report. You're providing information so that they can implement it in their business or whatever. So those are a few different ways to use content marketing to grow your reach. And all of this is about exposure. You have your sphere of influence. Those are people who know you, like you, trust you, and you want to expand that sphere. You want to amplify your message. And so there's different channels in order to reach people, to reach eyeballs, to reach ears, so they get to know who you are. Once they find out who you are and they like what you're doing, that leads to trusting you. And when they know, like you, and trust you, they'll be willing to buy your products or services. And the third step here is, excuse me, is to launch with a sales funnel. Now, here is a simple sales funnel outline. You start off with free content to build trust. Then you offer a free lead magnet so that you can grow your email list. Then you offer a free webinar that you email the people and that you link to in your social media profiles that teaches and sells your course. So the webinar, you're offering them a high level view of what your course is going to offer them Why should they take your course? This is what they're going to learn. This is the key takeaway. This is the answer to what's in it for me. And at the conclusion of that webinar, then you offer them a irresistible offer. Let's say, a discounted price for a limited period of time, right? So you're using some of Robert Cialdini's persuasive strategies, right? The art of persuasion to influence them, like scarcity. So this is a limited time offer at a discounted price. You have until 48 hours. When the clock stops, the price goes away. Then you have to pay a regular price to get in. Or this course is only offered now in June. And if you don't sign up for it in June, you'll have to wait until September before you can enroll in the next course. That creates scarcity. And those are two principles of influence and persuasion that could lead them to go ahead and buy your course. So you want to include a couple of those elements at the end of the webinar so that you can convert the people who are watching into customers. And then again, like I said, the limited time offer creates urgency so that they make a decision rather than sit on it, think about it, and then they miss out on the opportunity and then you miss out on the sale. So having a sense of urgency, a timeline, a short window of opportunity will help you convert more leads to customers. All right, here are a few things, a few mistakes that you want to avoid. Let me go over 4 of them. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm clearing my throat over the microphone. That's so faux pas. I apologize. All right, overcomplicating the content. That's a problem. You don't want to do that. Just keep it clear, keep it simple. Remember, follow the KISS method. Keep it simple, silly. Not validating your idea. That's a problem because you want to make sure that people want what you're offering before you build it. Spend so much time building it out. You could spend months building a course that nobody wants. That's just not practical. That's not a good idea. So you want to test out your idea to see if people actually are interested in what you're offering. Again, you could do some research to see if somebody else is offering a similar type of course. And if they're making money doing it, then chances are that you can do it too, because you're offering similar content, but with your own take on the content, right? Because if you're talking about changing tires on a car, well, you're changing tires on a car. I mean, how many different ways are there to change a tire on a car, right? So you get what I'm saying. Like if you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you just make your own brand, right? If there's Firestone out there, Firestone's doing well, then you come up with the John Tanner brand or whatever it is that you want to call it. It's the U tire. All right. So anyways, focusing only on sales and not providing value is a problem. Don't make that mistake. Your key purpose is to help people. And when you do that, when you help them actually get real results, then people will trust you, they'll recommend you, and you'll get more sales out of it. So keep that in mind. Put your customer first. Very important. Besides, people could smell a salesy person, like a schemy type of a person from a mile away. It's like the snake oil salesman. Oh yeah, this snake oil is going to be your remedy for whatever. Okay. And then they disappear 2 minutes later. Like, where did that person go? They're gone. Right. Don't be that, don't be just in it for the in it to win it. And that's it. Just offer real value, be of service to people, put them first. I would even go as far as saying, listen, if they're not satisfied, offer them 100% money back guarantee in 30 days. If you trust that your product or service will help them, your course will help them, then by offering them a money back guarantee, you're saying, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I know this will help you. And if you're not completely satisfied, I will refund your money in the first 30 days if you're not satisfied. That's how much I believe that this course will be valuable to you. And if you do that, you're going to win trust. Trust me, you will win trust. And if 1 or 2 people are scammers and they just want the free content and they cancel within 30 days, so be it. It's a loss, right? Just count it as a loss leader. Just like a retail store has shrinkage, they may lose 5% of their income of their warehousing products because of theft, right? Or damage. That's part of the business. You count it off as the cost of doing business, that 5% of shrinkage. And let's just say the same thing would happen. You'll have 5% or 2% refunds, but 98% you get to keep. So it's worth doing. Believe me, I believe it's worth doing. But you are your own captain. So go ahead and do what's right for you. This is just my advice. And then the last mistake that people make the mistake of doing when they're starting a course is they launch without an audience. So they're lacking the trust factor. So you have to build trust before you can make a sell. And without the trust factor, it's going to be very hard to convince somebody to buy what you're offering because they don't know who you are. So that's why you want to offer some free content out there so people can start following you, start connecting with you, start trusting you. And then when you have something of value that just takes what you've already been talking about over and over again for a period of time. For me, it's been a few years already, right? We've had the Entrefluential Live podcast. We're in season 4 now. We've been doing this since 2022. So here we are 3 years later, still building, still offering free advice in different platforms. This podcast, the blogs, the videos on YouTube and so forth, the books, ebooks. And so like all of this is leading up to building trust, know, like, and trust. So once you build your audience, we call it your tribe. Once you have your tribe and they love your content, they resonate with your content, like you, or if you're listening to this podcast, if you're not new to my channel, our channel, then sorry about that, Sebastian. It's our channel. If you're new to our channel, then you're just getting to know us. But if you've been here for a while, you probably trust what we're talking about. And so that's what you want to do too, my friend. You want to do the same thing. You want to build a tribe who knows you, likes you, and trusts you. And that is important. That's the premise before you start selling courses and live workshops, seminars, and so forth, and more books and all that good stuff. So in closing, now you have it, your roadmap to creating and selling a successful digital course. If you got value from today's episode, please do us a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs it. We appreciate you very much, Entrefluencers. You're our tribe. Keep building, keep scaling, keep amplifying your message, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Entrefluential Life podcast. Bye for now.